Hear you.
Well, welcome to our world. Welcome to Black Entrepreneurs Institute Live. We are excited to be here with you today. This is really January. It's almost over. This is the last Tuesday in the month of January. That means you only have, folks, soon you will only have 11 months to reach your goals. You're going to have 11 months to be great this year. You're going to have 11 months left to do all the stuff that you said you were going to do. Hopefully you haven't given up on your goals yet, right? If you have, I want you to talk to Dr. Nick. She has a sofa that you can sit on and talk with her, right? So
right. We'll get you right.
I am one of your co-founders, Cedric LaFleur, along with my partners, Dr. Nicole Rankin. Hello, Dr. Nick.
Hey, everyone.
Damian Johnson.
Hey, friends, how are you?
All right. And Miss Angela Hooper Menningfield.
Hello, everybody.
All right. So this is Tuesday night, 6:30 Central Time, 7:30 Eastern Time. There's nowhere else you'd rather be than right here tonight with us. And guess what? Tonight is the last Tuesday of the month. That means it is Youthpreneur night, right? So, I'm the youngest one in this crowd here. So, but I'm not the youth tonight.
we picking up where we left off last week, exercising those ab muscles, aren't we?
Yeah. So tonight we have two young people that are making an impact in the youth space with their very own business. And let me tell you what, folks. They started their business when they were 11 years old each, right? So, but we're going to talk about them in just a little bit. But I'm excited tonight to introduce them in a few minutes. But before we do that, I have a couple of questions for our founders. So, Dr. Nick, what should we, meaning entrepreneurs, stop doing?
What should we stop doing? As I think about the new year and all of the stress, I think that we should stop as entrepreneurs ignoring our mental and emotional well-being. Entrepreneurs are hard workers, and a lot of times we suffer from chronic stress and anxiety and depression more than average because we're working all the time, trying to grind, trying to get the dream. But I think we have to be able to invest in ourselves more, to invest in our health and our well-being. So it'll be enough to drive to success if you're not even well or healthy to enjoy the freedom that you're building. So I think we need to stop ignoring our mental, our emotional and physical well-being and concentrate on that more.
Awesome. I absolutely love that. So Damian,
Yes, sir.
What should we as entrepreneurs start doing?
That's a really good question, Cedric. I think that one of the things that entrepreneurs need to start doing, because we do tend to run 100 miles per hour and work so hard, is to start auditing your business. What I mean by that is, make some time to step back from working in your business so that you can actually start working on your business. Ultimately, what this will do is it'll give you perspective so that you can focus on, the things that only you can do, how best and where best to invest your time. And it also, when you audit your business, it gives you the ability to start looking at the overall process so that you can start to develop systems, improve efficiency. This is really all about leveraging your time, because it's really the only currency that we have. And so maybe there's some things that you're doing in 3 steps that you could be doing in 2 steps, or maybe there's some things that you're doing now that you don't even need to do at all, but because you're so busy running and trying to make things happen, you lose sight of that. So by auditing the business, you can find the gaps that you have and begin to close those gaps and be able to build systems and processes in to scale your business even more and leverage your time.
Awesome. Absolutely love that. So I'll say the big question for the triple PhD behind you guys, Dr. Angela. So Angela, is our strategy driving? Is our strategy driving our strategy? Meaning, is the way that we're allocating our resources driving our strategy?
So, that's a really good question. And I love that quote by Mark Johnson. And it could be both, right? So ideally, what we want organizations to actually go through the process of doing all the work to create their strategic plans, their strategic documents. But the problem is often those documents are not reflective of the organization. And so in my work in strategic planning with organizations, some of the things that I tell them are key components to effectively have a strategy is to, number one, get clear that the strategy aligns with the mission of the organization. Secondly, to ensure the plan or strategy that is created is representative of the entire organization. So often senior leadership comes and has some thoughts, and then they push down the message. And so we want that strategy to be inclusive at every level of the organization. And I say that, from the janitorial staff all the way to the desk of the CEO, everybody needs to be included. And then following that, once they get a strategy, they need an operational plan, because that's really where the day-to-day steps are dictated. And then we can be sure that the tasks support the strategy. And then last but not least, it has to be a living document. So it's not something that we create and then put on a shelf and then go back and come look 3 to 5 years later, right? But most people's strategic plans have dust on them. And so we got to revisit routinely. And otherwise, it's just an exercise in futility.
Right. Absolutely. 100% agree with that. So Angela, before we talk about, introduce our guest for tonight, talk about some new things that's coming up here in 2021 that, actually people can still register for and we're going to be a part of.
Yes. So right now, what is happening is Future Proof 2021. And so first, let me tell you how you can register. You can go to yourempoweredlife.com /pages, then / Future Proof 2021. And if you just go to Your Empowered Life and type in the word Future Proof, you'll find it. But some of you may be wondering, but what is Future Proof, right? So Future Proof is actually a 100-day mastermind program that helps give clarity, confidence, and accountability, because we need to be able to, especially after the year we had in 2020, to do our best to future-proof our assets, resources, our business, and our life. And so there are 19 experts that are doing interviews and teachings and calls. And Cedric and I are actually 2 of those experts. And we are, I'm like, what is Damien doing?
My camera's reversed.
But Cedric and I are 2 of the future-proof experts, and we are actually going to be teaching and helping people find ways to set their businesses apart and leverage that and future-proof them with the value of certifications. So again, it's not too late to enroll, but definitely come join us over there, because it's going to be a great time. And some of the other experts are truly phenomenal. Dr. Amen, Dr. Sheeling, David Martinelli, who is an economist. It's just so many experts over there.
Yes. And the link is in the comments if you want to tap on this. If you want to register for that, right? So now it's time for us to get to what the show is about. This show is about youthpreneurs. And tonight we have 2 young entrepreneurs with us. And let me introduce you to the brother and sister team of Andrew and Amanda Nichols.
Hi.
Hi, welcome to the show. So let me introduce them. So Amanda is 16 years old, and she's a junior in high school. They live right here in the great country of Texas. And she is the owner and founder of Amanda Faith Designs. She started sewing when she was 9 years old, but didn't start her business until, I'm going to say it a different way. She started her business when she was 11 years old. I mean, that is really starting early, folks. Making an impact and making a difference really early. And you'll be able to contact her. Her links will be in the comment section with Amanda Faith Design. So let's welcome Amanda.
Hi.
All right. So then now let me introduce to you Andrew, her brother, her older brother. Andrew Nichols is 18 years old. He's a senior in high school. He's also the owner and founder of Andrew's Artisan Cakes and Andrew's Artisan Pens. He started making cakes when he was 9 years old, and then started his business when he was 11 as well. So 11 years old is the magic number in that.
Yes, it was.
And he started turning pens when he was 12 years old. So you no longer need to go get a Mont Blanc pen. You no need to go get your a big pen. You need to get you one of Andrew Artisan pens, right? And he started that business when he was 13 years old. So welcome, Andrew.
Hi, welcome. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, we're excited to have you here. So, Angela, you want to take off with the questions?
Definitely. It is so good to have you guys here. So let's just get started. Let me just say how impressed I am that you both started your business at 11 years old. So let's just talk a little bit about why you started the business.
When both of us were younger, it came to a certain point where our parents pretty much said, if you want anything like kind of special for yourself, like, non-necessities, you're going to have to pay for it yourself. And we didn't really get much of an allowance. We got like $3 a week.
Well, it was something. We got cut off.
We pretty much. We pretty much got cut off. But
it allowed for something cool because you can't get a job at 11, so we had to think outside of the box to earn money.
Yeah.
And so we both had passions, which we figured out a way to monetize. That's probably the big thing.
So, okay, so you were trying to tap into your passions and I guess create your own allowances.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's how it started, yeah.
Okay, so I know Cedric said a little bit about what your businesses were, but, Amanda, you tell us a little bit about specifically what your core business is.
Well, my core business is I make small products for the everyday consumer. Sorry, my cat decided she wanted to enter the chat. So I make, I sew products like masks and bags and bookmarks, things like that. Like here, I have some bags here, for example. And then I also do costume design, which is more with my theater, but I also do that on the side as well, where I actually, I just got finished making a dress for my theater that's going to nationals.
That's awesome. Okay, so Andrew, tell us a little bit more about your business.
Yeah, so the first one was Andrew's Artisan Cakes. So I started it, I started just making cakes. My mom asked, what did I want to do? Over one summer, I'm like, hey, can I do some baking classes? And that's how it really started. I just bake them for fun, bake my friends' birthday cakes. And then eventually one of my friends, their parents asked, hey, can we pay you $60 for a cake? And I was like, yeah, definitely. And then so just by that, I kind of started off thinking, wow, I could actually make money from this. And then just news on Facebook and stuff like that. Then I got an actual website and became more official starting late 8th grade, beginning of high school. And so now I make anything from wedding cakes, birthday cakes, anniversaries. Companies will hire me to put their logos on cookies or stuff like that for galas or book launches. And then I use some of that proceeds to start a second business. So I really enjoyed turning pens and I saw a potential there. And so I started making handcrafted like wooden pins. I kind of have one here, but
Nice.
anyways, I started that business and I marketed it. I sell them in a jewelry store downtown in San Antonio, and a lot of companies will buy them for their clients or the coworkers or bosses. And then we also do some craft shows or holiday markets during Christmas time, and she'll sell her sewing stuff and I'll sell the pins.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
Wow, very, very impressive. And I'm always shocked when I love having our youth on and just hearing their experience, and to know that you guys started at 11. You know, many 11-year-olds are not thinking about starting a business. So what was going through your mind at the time, if you can remember way back then when you were 11, how did you know you wanted to be an entrepreneur?
I really like the idea of my own hours and being my own boss. I can't, after being, at this point, it's become my high school job. I wouldn't say career, but I couldn't imagine any other better starting job. Being able to choose your own hours and almost in a way choose your own destiny. Like if I wanted to earn $2,000 this month, I could work harder and speak that into fruition in a way, but it's something I've created, you know what I mean? And so that potential for greatness, but also, you know, it's a lot of liability. If I don't do anything, nothing's going to happen. So there's nothing to fall back on. So it's a lot of responsibility, but the upside is limitless.
And I just always was a very independent person, and in the same way, I just wanted to be. I didn't want to be, you know, bossed around by anybody else, you know, and I didn't want to do like the basic thing of like babysitting or pet sitting or going and walking dogs, because you know I've always been more of a cat person, and you can't really walk cats.
That's a good point.
So I just I wanted to do something different.
Wow. I love this story. You guys are so inspiring, and you hit the nail on the head, right? When you said that if you don't do anything, nothing happens. So let me ask you this, because obviously you have a couple of different focuses for your business. Who's your target client?
For me, mine would probably be more just people that are at craft shows, which is where I do a lot of my selling, as well as online. I make bags specifically that go with my school district's clear backpack rules. So for students and people in our district, and then also because I make masks for people in the medical field and pretty much now everyone in general.
Yeah, and then for me,
No, please. I was going to ask you.
For me, the cakes is definitely my target audience is most definitely parents, in particular moms. I kind of make fun of it. All my Instagram followers, I would say 90% are just older women, like moms, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then the pens is definitely marketed more higher end. Most of them are corporate clients or people. I sell them like in a jewelry store. They usually run around. I have lower end ones or entry level ones around 35, but most of them are around 100. So they're more executive. So I market accordingly.
Wow. Okay.
Yes, and I have my pen and pens right here. So go get your pens as well. And so thank you, Andrew, and you know, because I live close, you know, I had personal delivery. The postman or the FedEx guy can deliver yours. The link is the link to order stuff from Andrew and or Amanda and stay in contact with them is in the comments. So I'm gonna start with Andrew first. So tell us what your plans after high school, because you said, hey, this is a great job for high school, but it's not my career.
Yeah, so the cakes is definitely up in the air because it really depends on where I go to high school. I don't know yet, or college. If I end up going to college closer to Texas, I could probably do, the bigger wedding cake orders. But and the pens, I could most definitely ship them from college. But I want to go to college to be an engineer. But also minor in entrepreneurship or double major. And my plans after college is to have a startup or start my own engineering firm. That's always been the goal, is creating something of my own. But I want to go into engineering. I love it so much.
Okay, well then, that's awesome, and I'm gonna ask you, Amanda, that same question. But it's awesome that you want to start your own firm, and you have a lot of people who have done that type thing. Mark Zuckerberg, the Microsofts of the world, the Steve Jobs of the world, right? They all started their own stuff, so that's awesome. So Amanda, I know you have a couple more years left, but what do you want to do after high school?
Well, I'm kind of in a little bit of a crossroads right now. At first, for a long time, I knew that I wanted to be an interior designer, and now because of theater, I've been more inspired to maybe do costume design later in my life and in my career, and either work in the professional field and in the in the commercial field for both of those. And then maybe if I ever get good enough, maybe work on Broadway in costume design.
Okay. All right. All right.
Well, I laughed, Amanda. You said now that I'm older in my career. I just love it. I love it so much.
I've always been an old soul. I've always thought myself older than I am.
No, I actually love it because one, I think I always was an old soul too, but it just, to me, it also shows such a sign of maturity. Like you see your growth progression through your business as well.
For that, but other people see it, Andrew.
Yeah, your brother's never gonna see it, right? He'll point out your flaws, but he'll be your biggest defender. I have no doubt. So, Amanda, are all your designs custom orders, or do you get inspired to make certain dresses and things to sell?
So usually I use patterns as an inspiration, but if I really need to, I can make alterations based off the pattern or mix patterns. Like in a previous dress that I've done before, I liked everything about the actual dress except the sleeves, so I just I got sleeves from a different pattern and added it onto the main frame. So it's for the most part, it's very custom. Yeah.
So how did you actually get into even designing dresses? I mean, I know you said you grew into it, but where did your love from sewing and designing come from?
So when I first started sewing, it was, just basic small things. And then I started to get into theater once I hit middle school. And I've always been intrigued with fashion in a sense. And I started to lean towards the technical side of theater and less of the acting side. And once I got to high school, I got to explore that and even more and be the costume designer in several of our high school shows. And I also, my mentor, she does a majority of the costumes in our local community theater. And she helped teach me a lot of the necessary, ways and stitches and just how to read a pattern. And because it's very different when you go from like a piece of clothing to, like a small little bag.
That is amazing. You're just talented. I love the fact that you had that inspiration and even have a mentor to kind of help you through the process. So, as we're coming out of 2020, we know many business owners had to do a lot of shifting and pivoting in their business. So when you think about your business and your journey coming out of the crisis that we're in, what has been the most, I would say, impactful thing that happened to you or your business during this time?
For me, I made a lot of masks. I made, I believe, over 500 masks. over 500 masks, and some of which were given to just our community in general, some people in the medical field, and just supporting our community in a time of crisis, because there's really no better time to be gather together as a community than when we're all in need.
Wow, that is awesome. So, a friend of mine has this saying that they say inspired people inspire people, and you all are very, very inspiring. So I can't help but sit here and wonder, who inspires each of you the most, and then tell us a little bit about why they inspire you. So, Andrew, why don't you go first, and then Amanda?
Yeah, definitely. I know it's cliche, but most definitely probably Elon Musk. He's when I think of an entrepreneur, I think of that man right there. From right out of college, starting PayPal and then selling it to eBay, and then from that taking his money and starting SpaceX and becoming the CEO and owner of Tesla and all his side companies from Neuralink, Boring Company, and just stuff like that. I mean, there's not a man that I think embodies the word entrepreneur more than him. I mean, I've never met him, never will met him, most likely, but he's the most definitely what I strive to be.
That's awesome. Amanda, how about you?
I don't necessarily have like a singular mentor. I think my community in general, and like how much that my family and my friends, they supported me in all of my decisions, making, like, no matter what choice that I made, they always supported me through it and walked me through it. And that was just one great thing about having just a strong support system, is that I kind of I could be independent, but also know that I could depend on other people.
Okay. All right. That's awesome. And it's interesting, Andrew, that you said Elon Musk, because when I was listening off the entrepreneurs, I was trying to think of his name, but I couldn't remember. I was going to say Tesla, but I didn't want to just say the Tesla guy.
Yeah, no, he's definitely, I don't want to say an idol, but he's up there.
Okay, awesome. Well, in fact, Angela just posted something earlier today around the 3 richest guys in the world, right? And how much their net worth increased in 2020, and Elon Musk was one of those people.
Oh yeah.
So I'm back around school. All right, they gave me questions around school. Okay, so what's your favorite subject in school and why? So Amanda, you go first.
I mean, I don't really know if this would be considered a subject, but theater, because I can just kind of, I can be myself in there, and a lot of my friends are in there, and it's a very accepting community. So you can be very individual, and you won't get hate that the normal high school society would give you.
All right, I like that. And Andrew?
Mine is most definitely math and science, particularly physics and calculus. I love those courses, not just because they're hard, but they make you, unlike most school, I feel like a lot of it is, cram, memorize. But I feel like those courses really teach you how to problem solve. And I when I listen to podcasts and stuff like that of engineers, and they say they list the most important courses, and it's the courses that don't give you a solution that you just can't find. You can't look up the answer, but that system where it teaches you to think. And those courses, I think, do those the best in high school, and those are definitely my favorite.
Oh, so they help you more with your critical thinking skills.
Yes.
Okay, love that.
So Andrew, I must tell you that when I first went to college, I was an engineering major. And then after my freshman year, I said no. And it was because of calculus.
I get that. I 100% get that.
Yeah, I'm in calculus 2 right now in high school, and it's a little tough.
I don't have to take a math next year, and I am definitely not.
Well, it's funny because calculus in high school was not the same as college calculus. That's all I'm gonna say. But I have no doubt you're going to do amazing, and I have a lot of engineers in my network, and I think you are perfect for that. So let me ask you this: you talked a little bit earlier about your pen. So how difficult? Because is it to even make a pen? And what made you even think about making pens, I think, is a question I also have.
Yeah, definitely. So in 7th grade, I joined shop class. So I have dyslexia. And so in 6th grade, I had like dyslexia courses as like my elective, so I didn't get one. So in 7th grade, when we got 2, I ended up doing shop because I was a little too late to join a band or choir, orchestra, stuff like that. And so we learned how to make like just simple pens there. And I really enjoyed it. And I had some of the money from my cake business. I ended up buying some of the machinery. I spent about a year or 2 like practicing and getting it right and getting really good at it. And so to break it down, pretty much you got a block of wood. You drill a hole in it. You cut it in half. You put it on a lathe, which is a machine that spins really fast. And then you like hand chisel it. And then you sand it and then seal it. So you seal it with like, it's something called CA. And so it makes it feel like glass, sort of. So it seals the wood and then polish it and stuff like that. But the whole process takes a couple hours, and it takes it's very hands-on. It's all handcrafted, and it took me a while to get right.
That's awesome, man. I do like nice pens. I saw Cedric showing his off, so I may have to venture on over there and get me one.
And Andrew, let me tell you, and I'm going to tell you what. So Andrew's the sales guy. I said, Andrew, hey, tell me how much your pens are, right? So he sends me the pictures, and he has all his prices, like the little tag with the price on it. They were all turned the other way so you could see the price. And I was like, Andrew, look, I used to run the sales organization for a Fortune 500 company. I get the game. Just tell me what the price of the pen is.
Andrew, you had it like the jewelry store. How you go to the jewelry store, they have all the prices.
Yes.
I didn't do that on purpose, Cedric. I just wanted you to see the whole pen first.
Good answer. Good answer.
Spoken like a good salesman.
Exactly. I wasn't mad at him. I was like, okay, hey. I can see he's a sales guy.
You saw through his charade.
I love it. And, in business, you have a lot of wins and you have a lot of losses. But as you are starting business for both you, Andrew and Amanda, what has been your most rewarding achievement so far?
Good.
For me, it was actually quite recent. I think I've already mentioned this before, but the dress that I just finished making a dress, and it qualified for nationals at Thespians. In my state, we have a thing called, or in Texas, we have Texas Thespians, where I got for the salon and costume construction, so I get to go to nationals later this summer.
Awesome.
Yeah, and for me, for the cake side, it was definitely my first wedding cake. That was like my big goal, like from the very beginning, ever since I started. And so I've had about probably I think 7 or 8 at this point. I get a couple a year, but that was my big goal. It was just so exciting to be able, you really become an official cake decorator when you start doing wedding cakes. That's how I classified it in my mind. And then the pens, being able to get it in the jewelry store, but overall, making that first $1,000, that's like such a big step. Like I feel like the first 1,000 is just as hard as the second 10,000. That just first stepping off point. That was a big achievement.
Wow, that's so incredible. So let me ask you a question here. You guys are, for your age, you got such great wisdom. When you think about if you just imagine yourself 10 years from now, What do you see in your life?
I'll let you go first.
It's a loaded question there.
You're closer to that point.
10 years from now, I hope to be hopefully married. I want to start, like I said, my own firm, but even outside that, I like to branch out, diversify. I can see myself owning real estate and stuff like that. I currently have a retirement account, and I want to get a duplex as my first house. You know, live on one side, rent out the other, get the tax benefits. You know, all planned out, right? Now this is just an idea plan, but you know, you can, if you buy a 4 duplex, you can buy it. Your first rule is if your first house is a 4 duplex, you can get a special tax credit and rent out the other sides, and you only have to have like 10% down.
Wow. It's got it all mapped out. I'm sorry.
Research.
Just an idea.
Well, you know,
So, yeah,
most engineers are C's, right? He's got a plan.
Yeah. Compounding interest, you know, start younger, and it's really cool. We have a class in our school where there's like a 1 unit on like finance and like future planning and investing, and it's like just starting 5 or 6 years earlier in high school or college, putting in $1,000 a year into a retirement account or something like that. That compounded that extra 5 or 6 years in the beginning. It's crazy how much upside you can do when you're 65.
Yes.
Cedric, I think Andrew gonna have to co-teach one of these financial classes with you.
Yeah, it was funny enough. The teacher just made me teach that unit.
Yeah, so y'all might have to get him to come and teach the class with me. That'd be awesome.
So what about you, Amanda?
Well, I don't have it as mapped out as that, but pretty much my main goals are to be financially stable in the future, because, you know, especially with, you know, college prices being through the roof right now, but being able to financially support myself and not hopefully be able to pay off my loans, which, you know, will be great. But just to be financially stable and mentally happy.
Awesome. I love it. You guys have a plan. I'm a C person too, so I love plans. So, you know, it's always good to see young people thrive, but we know that even as a young person, you're not by yourself. So you all have some wonderful support. So we want to ask your mom to come on.
Yeah.
And so we're going to talk about her and ask her a few questions about your journey as well.
So, yeah, hold on, let me get in. So, hi, how are y'all this evening?
Hello
Great.
there.
We're just gonna monitor everything I say.
Yeah. We're not spilling too many secrets.
Make sure I keep in check, right? Tell them all the time. That's my privilege to embarrass you whenever I want.
Yes. So let me introduce everyone. This is Susan Nichols, their
Hi.
mother. All right.
Susan, I jokingly tell my daughter all the time, it's in the parents' handbook. You haven't just seen it yet because you're not a parent. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. When you have kids, you'll understand.
So Susan, let me start with this. Of course, we know you are so proud of both your children.
Mm-hmm.
But I just got to know, as a mom, at 11, when Andrew came to you and said, I want to start a business, what were you thinking?
Well, I often say, let me precursor this. I refer to Amanda as more what I expected as a normal teenager. Andrew's like raising 3 children. Very exhausting. But to be honest with you, it was pretty gradual. We come from a very entrepreneurial family. My father was a business executive. My brother has created many very successful businesses. I run a consulting company that I also help develop nonprofits, do public speaking and workshops. And my sister has a very strong work ethic. So it's not uncommon at our family reunions or gatherings to overhear conversations about profit margins and investing, and that is the dialogue that is pretty normal in my household growing up, and it transferred to our house now. Yeah, we talk about investments, how to invest, etc. But as far as the kids, both of them actually, it was gradual. For instance, let me give you an example. For like Andrew in the cake business, like we paid for all the ingredients up front, that kind of thing. But it started, as soon as he started earning money, enough for what we would consider petty cash for those ingredients, we told him he was on his own with the petty cash, right? As soon as he started being able to be trusted to ride his bike to the grocery store with Amanda, the tag team, they did the groceries. I mean, like from the beginning of the order to buying the groceries to all of that. Now, we would help, I would help for both of them, like create an organizer, help them create order forms, help them understand of how to keep track of orders. We gave guidance along the way, but eventually, I mean, like with the cakes, it just came to, I was helping deliver. And then as soon as he got his license, like, okay, how you track your mileage for your taxes, you know? I mean, we just gradually, and for Amanda and for her sewing, it's the same thing. We would help with materials, but then eventually she could, they both have their own business bank accounts. Andrew has several, Amanda has several too, savings and spending accounts that are strictly for the businesses. And took them to the bank with us. You know, here's how you set up an account. Here's how you deposit your money, to the point where we don't even go anymore. And then Andrew's the one coming to me saying, let's go to the bank. I'm opening my Roth IRA today, you know? And so we did it gradually as parents, kind of teaching and then letting go, teaching and then letting go, and using all of that as teachable moments. Our goal is to raise very independent children. We joke all the time. Me and my husband could be gone for a week and our household would run fine because they know how to do everything they would need to do. But the flip side of that is we're not overly concerned when they leave for college, or, you know, we feel like they have the life skills necessary.
No, I can't argue that. And this, the fact that they have business accounts, we know entrepreneurs that are our age. We're like, maybe you want to separate that money.
That is too fun. I just love what you've done with them, Susan. And let me ask you a question. Obviously, they're successful in their entrepreneurial pursuits, but they're still young people. How do you find that right balance between supporting their entrepreneurial journey, but letting them still be kids, right?
Well, the prime example is when Andrew was in the car with me one day and he had a graph on his business plan and he was explaining it to me. And as a mom, I said, I just want to know in the business plan when you're going to clean your room. Like, chug the business plan until you've cleaned your room. So yes, you're right. There is that balance, that balance of remembering they're still kids, keeping them in check, reminding them they're still kids and I'm still the parent and their dad's still the parent. There's still a little bit of that, you know, they're normal teenagers, you know, when they take over your kitchen, your dining room, and your garage, and then try to dictate to you when you're going to fix dinner and how it's going to be done because they're doing stuff in there. About right there. You know, just there is that normal balance, you know, of, and also remembering they need a break and they are teenagers and they take time to, you know, balancing the schedule of, do we make cakes, or I have finals coming up, or I have plans with a friend, or I plan to go to the football game, or, you know, in Amanda's case, doing theater plus doing costume design. Is she going to try out for the acting piece, or does she want to do the costume design piece? I mean, those are all normal teenage things that we just have to talk about. In fact, we had it tonight. We have family fun night once a week, and we go out to dinner, but we use that time to discuss our weekly schedules, our calendar, schools, business obligations, and we go with each kid. It's like a once a week business meeting, staff meeting, pretty much. And we just go through the basics for the week. So we're coordinating and pre-planning rather than reacting throughout our week to the busyness.
Awesome.
That's amazing. I just love the support and the guidance that as a parent that you give to your child, even as a young age, because I can imagine many young kids saying, I want to start a business, and the parents like, oh, yeah, just go do your homework. So what advice would you give to other parents out there who have young children who may have skills or talents that want to start a business?
We prayed two things for our kids, and we remind them all the time. The first one was if they do something wrong, they get caught. We pray that over them all the time, and so far that's worked. God has been very faithful. The second one is that we would discover their giftings young so we could guide them. And as parents, we truly started looking for that, kind of where their tendencies were. Their father, Rob, my husband, he's in the finance field. So he's very open in talking about finance, hence Andrew's kind of the mini-me part of Rob. And I would say just starting gradual, and don't be intimidated. I don't know anything about sewing. I knew a little about cake decorating because I made the kids' cakes when they were young. I know nothing about woodworking. So, a lot of parents can be scared off by the kids wanting to pursue something that's totally out of their comfort zone. And what I realized is it was just imparting to them my business experience, my husband imparting his business experience. So as they were, we really used teachable moments for, how to deal with a client, how to navigate if there's an issue, and really just imparting to that. And then finding people that we put them in the realm of people that had the same skill set. So like Amanda, we introduced and pursued the person that mentors her with costume design. I have a friend that's done cakes long term, and I said, look, other than sending him to culinary school, he's beyond cake decorating classes. Can he come and shadow you for a day? Same with engineering. He found someone to shadow. For the pins, he was fortunate enough. One day we were in a pin store, and one of the larger pin makers here in Houston kind of sat him down for, 30, 45 minutes and said, here's some tricks to the trade, and really pursuing people that have the same giftings, even though it may not be me or my husband's giftings, to expose them to.
Wow. Well, that is awesome. And I want to tell you, this time has really flown by, and but I want to thank Susan first for allowing Amanda and Andrew to come on, and then thank Amanda and Andrew for being willing to come on and talk to other entrepreneurs about what you're doing, and talk to other young entrepreneurs as well about what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
So thank you guys very much for taking the time out to come on the show. We definitely appreciate it. Be sure to tell your friends that they can see you again on Sunday afternoon at 2:00 Central Time, and they can watch your interview. And we thank you guys for coming on the show.
Well, thank you for having us. What an honor. We appreciate it.
Awesome. And if you want to buy and stay in contact with Amanda or Andrew, the link is down in the comments. Feel free to do that. I'll tell you what, get you one of these pins. Because it's very good. You can use them for a lot of different things. You need cakes, you need costumes, all of that stuff. They can take care of you with those things. So we're going to wrap up the show here. Just 1 second here. And so what I want to say is, again, thank you to the audience for coming in and tuning in with us tonight. We hope that you stay tuned to Empowered Living. We know that there's a lot that you have opportunity to take advantage of by tuning into the Empowered Living channel. The candle lighting is coming up next. And then there's a whole plethora of things that you can stay tuned to entertain you, to encourage you, to help you elevate your mindset and your money. So we want to tell you good night, and make sure you tune in Sunday at 2 p.m. Central Time. And also, we'll see you back here next Tuesday night at 6:30 Central, 7:30 Eastern Time. Thank you and have a good night.